Well, I have a few things to say before we start our reading. One is a special message for my newest soul sister that I got to meet in physical. Her name is Amy, so I'm going to shout out to Amy. Now, I mentioned LA, I mentioned Riverside, and I mentioned a small town that I didn't know its name, and Upland is my newest coffee. And they said Upland is also in California. They also said we are all moving to our new land. Upland. Upland. Okay? So that is a clear as day message for Amy and the collective. And a shout out to her doggie, Sadie. And Sadie, I love you. If you're listening, roof, roof. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go into the other room and we're going to do a little message. I did want to also comment that we have the Hierophant and the Queen of Cups that Amy got. Plus, we got the Tornado card in the Tower. And then we got Balance leads to contentment. And we also got Do What You Say. So that's just a little bit of information for everyone because it's in the energy. All right, we're going to go ahead and go into the other room and grab the cards. I see Soul Sister on the live and I want to shout out to her. All right, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. We're going to use St. Michael. St. Michael wants to come through. And you see all the bright lights everywhere. The sun is shining. It'll be about 80 today. What does St. Michael want to tell us? Besides, we're moving. Some of us physically, some of us spiritually, but all of us spiritually. Okay? And if you're not moving out of your physical city or home, you're upgrading it. Okay, you're upgrading it. You're liquidating. You're getting rid of the old and bringing in the new. That's where I'm at the moment. But we all should be open to relocation. We should all be open to change because God is running the show. And if we're his agents, we have to do as he says, not as we say. Okay, so St. Michael wants to give us some messages. He says, you and your loved ones are safe. So, for instance, Amy and her doggie, right? They're safe. Me and my pets, we're safe. All right? Some of you are really worried about your safety right now. And St. Michael is just assuring you, do not fear your safety. You're divinely protected, okay? And underneath that, he says, you created this situation and you have the power to change it. Now, I know that sounds like, no, I didn't create this situation, but you really did in your soul contract. And I know that's hard for people to understand because they're like, why would I put in my soul contract all of this bullshit? Why would I put in this contract all, let's go deeper, molestation, raping, abuse, addictions, okay? Why? Well, the reason why we write stuff in our soul contract is, one, when we're up in astral, we don't remember how hard it is here. And for two, it's because we want to cleanse a karmic assignment and burn the book of life, right? We want to come out of it with lesson learned so we can go to our next level. So I'm going to give you an example. You know how I talk about smoking and drinking holds you back, and we shouldn't be putting poisons in our body, and etc. Right? Well, you wrote that contract. I'm going to be a smoker. I'm going to be a drinker. But then I'm going to go to recovery, and then I'm going to, okay, but the thing is that you don't remember how hard it was to smoke and then to, it went out again. That's the second time. So when energy is that strong, really listen to what St. Michael's saying. So he's telling you that by being assertive, by being healthy, being assertive, by being healthy, what's it? Healthy, wealthy, and wise, I'm hearing, okay? You have the power to change any situation. And yesterday, Amy and I had a long talk on that, okay? There's many possibilities, but again, we want God to be in charge. Okay, now we're going to see what St. Michael says. He says, have confidence, okay? And that's the biggest key, because the dark side don't want to have confidence. Confidence is what gets us through the dark valley. Prayer will help the situation. So constantly in prayer. I mean constantly. Remember the Bible scripture called cease failing, or cease without, pray without ceasing. That was it. Pray without ceasing. And you heard a couple confirmations coming in, right? Okay, so whenever those ding, those are confirmations. All right, so prayer will help the situation. Now, St. Michael wants him to pray to you. St. Michael wants you to pray to him. You notice how a lot of things that I'm saying are getting twisted? My speech is kind of twisted. I'm saying things and then I'm having to correct myself. The video went out twice, at least on my end, and it says reconnecting, okay? That should tell you something, okay? That means that there's still a lot of tornado and towers coming in, but these lights, that's why the lights are on today. That's why the lights are in these videos, because some of the lights aren't working and some of them are, right? So that's dark and light. Last night I had a whole set of lights flashing in the background, and you just saw them flash when I pointed at them. They're flashing on and off. That's the spirit. That's the spirit connecting and saying we're here. So St. Michael is telling you that you just got to start using that spirit world. Okay? Positive thoughts create positive results. Can you stay positive through everything? Can you know that you wrote your own soul contract? Can you remember that you created the situation and you have the power to change it? You are on the right path, he says, even if you think you're not. You are on the right path. He's going to tell you if you're not. And the last two that just came out in my hand is believe and trust and decide to be happy now. So what awesome way to end St. Michael's message. He says you have to believe and trust. And we talked about this yesterday a lot, okay? And decide to be happy now, this second. You know, things could always be worse. And I know that might seem hard for some of you to believe, but it's true. Okay? Right now, things could be worse. The other thing he's saying without the cards is he's saying that things can change in a second. Just like how I met Amy yesterday. Things can change in a second. Okay, now we're going to pull a couple cards here. We're going to go ahead and shuffle these. We've got the Light Seer deck. That was the St. Michael deck. Okay. We've got the Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Now that's St. Michael. So we just used St. Michael's cards, and we just got a message from him, but he says he's not done. So we're channeling St. Michael today, 100%. Ace of Swords, bottom of the deck, is St. Michael's Sword of Truth. And he says, you think you're stuck. He says, you think you're stuck. But just like what happened yesterday between Amy and I, you're not stuck. And this is your higher self right here. And she's helping you. And she's saying you are not stuck. Take your hands right there. Take off that blindfold. And figure out how to get these few strings cut. Okay? And do it fast. The Chariot. And don't wait. Because the longer you stay stuck, the harder it is to get out of a situation. Now, I was reading out of my Batman Forever book, and it was really funny because Batman Forever is actually about how he met Robin, his helper. And Batman was up to his head in sand and dirt from Two-Face, his villain, and his hand was sticking up like this, and he was ready to actually give up and die. And Robin, his name wasn't Robin then, it was just a friend, Richard Dick. He came and he grabbed Batman's hand and pulled him out and said, I want to be your partner. Now, again, that was kind of like what happened yesterday between Amy and I won't get into the whole story, but it was a physical meeting, and we helped each other yesterday, and now Batman has a accomplice, a friend, a teamster, a soul brother. So start walking forward to the light. And that's what Gary says. And I'm glad Gary's on here because he's right down the street from me. Okay, so we have a sun coming up. It's the Three of Cups. And I'm also getting 3 people. I'm getting Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. But I'm also getting 3 people. So we've got me and Amy and the doggy yesterday. And Crystal came in and helped. So that's 3 people. We also had help from a family member, but we have to close off our karmic connections. You heard the ding, and we have to burn the book, and we have to move forward only with our soul tribe. Now, that's a hard one for a lot of people to get rid of their karmic negative family members. But we need to be in a celebratory mood. And the only way we're going to be able to celebrate is to start walking forward to the light. Exactly. You see how this card's walking right forward to the light. Found it. There it is. Okay. Then we have the Four of Wands, another celebratory card. You see how she's playing her tambourines? And again, there's 2 or 3 people, 2 people in the card, but I'm still feeling 3. And they're shaking their tambourine there, see? 4 of Wands. So if you don't feel happy and it doesn't feel celebratory, you're going to have to change it. The Moon card, what I'm getting is, in the past, you felt like you were drowning. But it was a false illusion. See, in the Matrix, we have this illusion that if things aren't exactly the way we want them, and if we don't feel 100% good, then something's wrong with us or wrong with the picture, and it's an illusion. So whatever situation you're in at the moment, don't fall for the illusions. Don't go underwater again. Okay? You have the power to change your situation. Stay away from the past. Now this is a picture of Sadie, the doggie that I was talking about. So Sadie comes up and we look at the top of the picture where Sadie's just a puppy. And then now we look at Sadie and Sadie's 1 or 2 years old. And we look at the top of the picture. You were once a little child and now you're a big grown girl or boy, right? So in the middle of that is all them cups. You see the cups where my finger is? Those are lessons learned. Some cups are fuller than others. They're actually bowls, yes. Okay, and some are full, some are empty. But mostly the dog ate all them bowls to get him to be that great big dog in the front of the picture, you see? So we have to go through what we go through to get to where we are. And right now, that's the highest timeline. Isn't this exciting, guys? Okay, so we're just going to pick a couple more cards here. 2 came out in my hand. Your soul contract and the Queen of Wands. So it's just telling you that you have to finish out your soul contract. Finish out your soul contract. Now I'm drawn to the bowls again. You see them bowls? They're full and they're right in your face. 2 full bowls right in your face. So it's all laid out for you. Where have you heard that before, Amy, right? It's all laid out for you. You just have to walk forward. And I keep seeing the lights blinking in the back. Okay? Queen of Wands is the creativity card. It's my creativity card. She can manifest anything. She can live in the solution to anything. And nobody's going to bring her down. She's got a big ego, but she's not easing God out. She's using her ego to create. What an awesome ending. So, okay, your soul contract says go forward to the light. The cups are full, the bowls are full, the doggie's big. You're big. Leave the past behind. I am Miss Mystic. Thank you for listening.